Tell me all about Nikolai.
Well, Nikolai is 8 years old. He has level 3 nonverbal autism and an unnamed genetic condition. He is a very loved brother and a very sweet boy. Come back. Sit with us. He has a hard time sitting still. He's very antsy. Come back.
As soon as I met Nikolai, he ran up to me and hugged me. Mm-hmm. Is it okay if I kind of give him a hug and give him sensory?
Yeah, no, he loves sensory. Like, he loves hard, unfortunately, sometimes, not a hard hug, but like a firm hug.
Compression?
Yep, compression.
Do you think that helps him regulate?
I think so.
Hey, Nikolai. It's very nice to meet you. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being my friend. And I really liked that you ran up to me, you hugged me. It means a lot to me that you feel comfortable communicating in this way, because I know this is how you communicate. And I'm glad that we're friends.
Welcome to SBSK. We believe that everybody has a story that's worthy of being heard. When we listen to one another, the world becomes a closer place, and we all benefit together. So without hesitation, let's meet today's friend.
He's meeting me for the first time right now.
Yeah.
Does he do this with strangers often?
Not really. Like, he sometimes will and sometimes won't. It just depends. Like, I'm guessing he can sense your aura.
So right now, he's rubbing his face against my beard. Does he like tactile stimulation like that?
Yes. He loves different feelings of, blankets. That's why I have a lot of fleece blankets around. He loves to like kind of run around with them and shake them along with his strings. Mm-hmm. I don't know, Nick. He's always looking for some sort of a sensory input.
Thanks for giving me a hug. Yeah, that's us right there. And I came to your house and brought this camera so that people all over the world can meet you, learn about you, and learn how to be your friend. Because everyone should have a friend like you, Nikolai. You're pretty cool.
This is great because he's validated in this interaction. You're reciprocating. You're not pulling away. You're not disturbed. It's sad because a lot of times that's not the case.
When he does this, how do you hope people respond? Just so you know, from my perspective, to me, it shows that he likes me.
Yes.
And he's comfortable, so I don't mind at all. In fact, I quite enjoy that he likes me.
Oh, well, I feel, unfortunately, a lot of times people get very uncomfortable. Mm-hmm. Actually, I even had him at a facility where it was like respite care, and this behavior is what made them ask that he not come as much.
Wow. What's that like for you?
It's hurtful because it's literally a place for people with autism, but you'll find, or at least what I did, is with profound autism, with what he has, that they're not, even those services aren't really catered to them. One time we were at a trampoline park and he was bouncing around and he did push another kid, and I immediately stopped it. But the mother was very upset. She felt like it was an intention. You know what I mean? Like it was him being intentionally aggressive. Mm-hmm. He was just trying to play and trying to get the kid's attention. And even after I explained it, she was like not very friendly about it. So it's like, you can do your best, but you have to also be there to constantly correct their behavior. You can't just let them run wild in public and push people and mm-hmm. all this stuff and then be like, why are they mad at me? Like, you have to stop the behavior. Children that are nonverbal at this age, the only way they can communicate is by showing you. So mm-hmm. that will mean sometimes if they want something, it'll mean taking a toy or, grabbing something from somebody or nudging them to get their attention. And that other people, other kids that don't know him are scared of that. But his autism was very regressive. So he had certain abilities when he was up until 2 years old, honestly never thought anything was wrong. And then at 2, he started having major regressions, losing all speech pretty rapidly. And I guess that's when the absence seizures started, but I wasn't really aware. So it was just kind of like 1 minute you had a normal, I guess it's pretty normal 2-year-old, and then all of a sudden everything was just like, it disappeared. And it was around the time my daughter was born, so it was a very like confusing time trying to have a newborn and deal with him losing everything.
What was he like prior to the regression?
He was like a regular 2-year-old, and I don't like saying a regular 2-year-old because they're all different, but like, you know, he was on the regular plane for development. He said words, he played, he watched videos. Are you getting out from underneath now? Welcome back. You know, he said regular words, he ate regular foods, he did all the things, and then I started slowly, it was very weird things, like all of a sudden, like he stopped, he couldn't control his drooling, and like you're what's going on? Like you're almost 2 years old, 2 years old. Why all of a sudden I'm putting a bib on you? You know what I mean? Like It was a lot of strange little things.
And it came out of nowhere?
It came out of nowhere. We all thought it was illness, and so the doctor said it was like he had fluid on his ears and his adenoids were swollen, so like that could be causing the drooling and why he's not talking as much all the time. Maybe his ears are bothering him. So we did those 2 surgeries, and I swear it was like after the surgeries, not that they caused it, but it was like, I remember that time frame. It was like he literally only could say tickle, tickle. Like he used to have all these words. And so I would go and constantly tickle him to make him say tickle, tickle, and then became just tickle, and then no more. And it was very hard.
What is that like as a mother to see your child lose language?
Oh, it's awful because like there's nothing you can do. And like I think I had said I just had a baby, so it was like I was trying to also deal with a newborn and then watching my other baby, you know, regress like that. And then his dad was very unsupportive. Like he felt like because I went through with that surgery that I caused all of this. That's actually like something that to this day is considered like I did this, which is hard.
What surgery are you referring to?
The adenoid and the myonectomy. When they removed the fluid from his ears and they removed his adenoids, like it was like his regression fully kicked in after that. But that wasn't from the surgery. That was just unfortunately the coincidence of the time frame. Like it's very common what happened with him. Other people can give you the same exact story. You know what I mean? So it's like. It's not that uncommon, the regression at that age.
When you have a child who is progressing, you know, typically, and then they have that regression, do you ever stop looking for answers?
No, you'll always be confused. So, and I hate it. I hate that for him.
Is he still the same person on the inside?
I think so, but it's like, I think there's been a lot of damage from all the seizures and everything. It's like I am not gonna lie, I literally said that I felt like he was one person until he was 2, and then that person disappeared. And so it's like, it is hard. It is hard. Of course I put mascara on, I don't know why I did that. It is hard to remember that. Like I don't like watching videos from when he was younger because it's hard to hear his voice that I've never heard again, you know? But on the flip, I used to be way worse. I used to not even be able to discuss this kind of stuff. And so I'm much more like healed from it all. Like I'm much more accepting of it all. Like this is okay. Everything's gonna work out. I used to think he was never gonna be potty trained or like, you know what I mean? Like things get better. In accepting him how he is, because it's not his fault, you know, it's nothing you can do.
What do you want people to understand about what life is like for you and your family here in your home?
Just more understanding of how hard it is. Like it's very, very hard. It's very hard. That's like a lot of lately. There's like a whole push about, you know, autism and like, trust me, it's such a big spectrum, like you said, whereas some people feel like it's not a disability or that it's like they don't want to cure it or whatever, but there's this aspect of it that is so hard. Imagine how he feels being locked in his body when he was 3 or 4, losing all those words, you know what I mean? Like things that he thought he saw his friends doing that he then couldn't do. So, you know, I just wish people would be more understanding, and that when people that are pushing to find a cure for autism or want to find answers for autism, that it's not a bad thing. It's almost like villainized. Do you know what I mean? Because they don't want people to judge them, which I don't want them to be judged. But I want there to be an answer. I don't want other kids to have to go through that.
Now, I think since autism is such wide of a spectrum, not everybody has the symptoms that cause suffering and pain.
No.
Tell me about some of the symptoms he experiences that cause him pain and suffering.
Well, he doesn't self-harm, but like, you know, over time, all the things that he's done to his body, from like, you know, eating things that were not meant for being food, you know, grinding his teeth down, you know, he doesn't have a pain receptor, which is common with a lot of people with profound autism. I don't know what that is, but he can like put his hand on something burning hot and like not realize it right away, and then like, or stick his hand in like if I'm boiling water. You know, he doesn't have, or he'll be running around and fall and bleed all over the place and he doesn't realize it. And then I'm like, what do you know? Also, just the overall, like, I'm just not being able to communicate, being locked in there, it feels like, you know, like just constantly trying to feel better. That's what I look at it like. He's just constantly in a state of like searching to not feel what he's feeling. Do you know? That's hard. It's hard for me to watch because like he's stuck in these stims. Right now he's sitting with you and this is good. I mean, honestly, I kind of wish he would stop kneeing you in the back, but you know what I mean? Like this is good. He's sitting there. But a lot of the times when say you're like, oh, I'm doing something around the house, I'm doing a task, he'll just be standing there just fixated on his strings, and I wish that wasn't how it always was. I can't even describe it. Like he used to be able to like, you know, play with a toy or have a toy, or
It's almost like he's in a constant state of sensory seeking.
yes, and it wasn't always like that. So that's been hard, and that's been hard to them. You know, as he's gotten older, when these symptoms are maybe supposed to get better with his therapies and his treatments, and he doesn't, it just keeps regressing a little bit here and there. It makes you kind of sad.
Do you feel like you're in a state of hypervigilance all the time, just watching him and making sure that he's okay?
Yes. And it's been, a state of hypervigilance and a state of lack of sleep, because he also doesn't sleep. So you think like, oh, at least that there's a time of the day when he's gonna go to bed and it's gonna, you know, no, he'll be up sometimes 1 o'clock in the morning still stimming around the house. Like, you know what I mean? And I can't just be like, all right, I'm clocking out. Like there's never a clock out. You're always the only one.
On a normal day, how much do you two sleep?
I want to say now probably like at least 5 hours, which is, you know, that's not horrible. We're not like in the state of sleep loss like that, but it's
For him too, 5 hours?
Yeah, maybe sometimes even less. Sometimes he'll wake up before me. He just doesn't sleep. And we've tried so many things. Melatonin, his neurologist put him on a blood pressure medication that is meant to treat that because he's so young. But it's like none of it does anything.
Oh, thank you for the hug. What's it like for you to see him being this social?
Honestly, it's heartwarming to me because I know he's doing it from actually like he actually just really wants to like have interactions with people. And that's one of the very few ways I think he knows how to show it. How else do you tell somebody like I enjoy being around you besides what he can do, which is that? But unfortunately, that's not normal. But the typical human interaction. So for a lot of people, it can be uncomfortable. Oh, loves that beard.
Now tell me about, you mentioned how he was diagnosed with autism. Mm-hmm. It was regressive. And then you had genetic research done and he was diagnosed with an unknown genetic disorder? Yeah,
so the regression of his autism confused me a lot because it's not the most common. Wow. It's not that common. Like, you know, it's so a lot of people with autism, they have those symptoms from when they're a baby. Do you know what I mean? So I just felt like his wasn't normal. Mm-hmm. So
Did they call it
no
regressive
hurting.
autism?
Yeah, they did call it regressive autism when he was diagnosed. And so I had him go and see a geneticist at Nikola's Children's Hospital, which is where he just is. It's funny, Nikola's Children's Hospital in Nikolai. And they did the genetic test, and turns out he has this X chromosome related condition that I also have. But because I'm a girl, I have two X's. So even though one of mine is like his, I'm okay because my other X makes up for it. Because Nikolai's a boy, he has an X and a Y, and his X having this condition, it causes all this. So
I've met a lot of parents whose child was first diagnosed with autism, and then upon some genetic research, they found that they had a rare genetic condition.
yeah.
I think that's probably more common than we know, and I think there's probably a lot of children out there who have a genetic condition that they don't know about, the family doesn't know, but the child has an autism diagnosis, and they kind of just accepted that as the answer.
Yes. Well, that's, a lot of parents are very hurt by the diagnosis. A lot of them don't want to then do further genetic research. I've met a lot of parents that I've brought up, you should go and bring them to Nikolai's Children's Hospital and get them tested and and they're like, no, I don't want to know more. This is what it is.
Was it useful for you? Like, did it provide him more accommodations?
Yeah, absolutely. It gave me number one, it gave me the answers. Like, it literally, his genetic condition causes the protein scaffolding in the brain to not have a spine. So it's like his connections can't form, basically, or they were lost at some point, in the brain, combined with the epilepsy. So it's like, I think it brought a lot of answers to me. And it will bring more answers to the future, too, for people like him. That needs to happen.
Hey, what's your name?
Naomi.
Hey, Naomi, how are you?
Good.
And what's your name?
Junior.
Hi, Junior. So tell me about the added dimension of all the other kids you have in your house. How many do you have total?
There's 5. There's 5 in total. So there's Rashad, who's 20. He'll be 21 in a few months.
I'm the
Nestor.
girl.
Naomi is the only girl. She's 6.
What's it like being the only girl?
You're going crazy now.
Oh goodness. And then he'll be 2 in January. He's gonna be 2 soon. I haven't had him genetically tested. I didn't really want to know right away. Because with a boy, every time I have a son, it's like a 50-50 chance, which is why I'm so lucky with all my boys that only one Nikolai has that condition. And because I wasn't aware of it either.
What's it like when you see your brother and he's jumping all over the place and stimming, flapping his hands?
Well, he's just my brother.
How do you two connect? Yeah, like how do you two bond?
I don't know.
Do you two bond?
I don't know. I don't like make a conscious effort to like. And what do you mean by that question?
If you want to spend some quality time with your brother, what do you do?
Well, I usually just take him outside.
What's he do outside?
Oh, he likes riding on a scooter.
I want to go back to just a minute ago.
Mm-hmm.
The topic you just brought up of the divide in the autism community is so important because since it is such a wide spectrum, you have many advocates online saying we're perfect just the way we are. We don't need to change at all. We don't need a cure. Mm-hmm. And I think that's totally valid for a lot of people on the spectrum.
Yes.
Like totally, you shouldn't be forced to do or be anything you don't want to be.
Yeah.
Like I agree with you 100%. But also, there's kids and adults out there who are physically suffering, who are in pain every single day.
Yeah.
And we can't just ignore that. We can't pretend like that doesn't exist. And sometimes people are only thinking about their perspective and their experience here on Earth and not thinking about the others who have a totally different experience. And it's tough because everybody's experience is valid, but you can't negate somebody else's valid experience just because it wasn't like your own.
Yes, well, that's one thing that I see a lot is they're like, oh, let's break up the diagnoses. Let's name it something different and make it so people with the levels is what we use now, right? Level 1, 2, and 3. Let's break it up and actually name it something different and it be a different diagnosis. And my thing with that is when you break it up, people in the autism community have power in numbers. And like, if you were to then be like, oh, they're now something else, then they'll go and focus on their own thing and, you know, forget about the people that can't even talk, or, you know what I mean? It should still be, everybody, all of them still have autism. I don't think the diagnosis should be broken up. I think that it just needs to I don't know why it's so hard to understand the spectrum part. It literally says it's a spectrum, like a wide spectrum.
What is your biggest hope for Nikolai?
My biggest hope is that one day he can find some peace. He's very happy, but I think that he's not able to be his full self because he's unable to get out of this, whatever this never-ending loop is of, you know, his constant need for sensory, his food obsessions, you know, all the things that are symptoms of his disorder that just debilitate him.
Before we end the interview, is there anything else you'd like to share?
No, I'm just so glad to finally meet you, and you guys get to meet Nikolai. I've literally been watching your interviews since, I believe, when he was like diagnosed, when he was like 2 years old. And like they helped me immensely, helped our whole family. They helped my mom, everybody.
Thank you. That means a lot to me that you shared that. And I want you to know, I understand and respect that having a child who has autism, you have to be on high alert all the time.
Yeah.
But I absolutely enjoyed my time with Nikolai. Him climbing all over me is a joy.
Good. I'm so glad. No, seriously, thank you for so much. Like, I'm telling you, even my mom and my dad watch your videos to understand more. And like, honestly, feel like they're not, because grandparents even feel alone, you know, when they're watching their kid losing their kid. Do you know what I mean? So it's very helpful.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
Thanks for watching SBSK. Click subscribe here to be part of our community. Then hit the notification bell below so you never miss a story. You can even meet another friend here. See you next time.